Hello friends. So we will consider today Marxist literary theory or Marxist literary criticism or Marxist approach to criticism, to study of texts. So actually what is Marxist approach to literary criticism or literary studies means? It's an approach to study literature based on the Marxist categories of thought. Based on the Marxist categories of thought. Marxist categories of thought. Now what is this Marxist categories of thought? Actually it's very simple. If we say, what are the sports categories of thought? Sports and games categories of thought. You have got basketball, football, then you have got team, you have got matches. See, these are categories of thought in that. Matches, then you have got race, running, the 100 meters, 500 meters. These are items, no? This is now competitions, isn't it? Then there are slogans concerning this. Sports and games, including swimming. So when you think about sports and games, these are the things that come to your mind. So these are related to sports and games, or you can say sports and games categories of thought. Another example I will give you of, let's say, about theology. Theological categories of thought means what? God, angel, devils, if there are any devils, I don't know. Then you have got belief systems, worship, and you have got pilgrimages, isn't it? These are, you can say, theological categories of thought: soul, heaven, earth. Then you have got purgatory, purification of your sins, atonement for sins, sin, virtue. So these are theological categories of thought. You understand? Like that. Marxist categories of thought. What are the Marxist categories of thought? We will take this one by one later, but for the time being, you can say very simple: economics, politics, sociology, man's life in this, surrounded by these ideas, ideology, materialism, historical materialism, dialectical materialism. See, these things we will take up one by one. I'm just giving you what is meant by, again, example for what is meant by Marxist categories of thought. Just as religious categories of thought, theological categories of thought. Or you have got sports and games categories of thought. Isn't it like this? Or let's say political categories of thought. What are they? See, elections, candidates, then you have got voting, isn't it? Or governments, then defection, majority, minority. See, these are all political categories of thought, like that. So every branch of knowledge has got a certain concepts, and these concepts we call categories of thought of that particular subject or that topic, you can say. All right, or that branch or that discipline, you can say. Understand? So what is actually Marxist literary criticism? Marxist, you know, that comes from the word Marx. Karl Heinrich Marx. Understand? So that is Marxist. Or communism, you can say. Communism. Both are same, so to say. I think that Karl Marx did not use Marxist, but he used communism instead of that. So communist categories of thought or Marxist categories of thought, when you apply these two or use these for literature, for studying literature, that becomes Marxist literary theory. That's so very simple that way, if you look at that. Yes. So the basic thing is, you should understand, that is economic determinism. One word if you say this, economic determinism. Economic determinism. What is determinism means? determines something means certain parameters that will help you to take a decision or the way you live. For example, if you are a Christian, your life is determined by the Christian theology or limited, you can say, limited by or restricted by. So you have to go to church on Sunday, you have to go for confession, you have to go to mass, you have to, like this. So your life is, so to say, determined like that. Or if you belong, if you are a Hindu, you have to go to, if you are, suppose you are a Hindu, then you have to go to temple, you have to go for, you go for pilgrimages, you go to our famous Sabarimala, isn't it, Ayyappa. So to see darshan, make darshan, such things. So you are determined that way. Or you are restricted, or your life is limited in that way. Or your life is influenced, or you are in that circle. Or you can say it is the way of life. You have a way of life. You can see on Sunday, if even you find some people are making a beeline to church, then you can see that they are Christians. Because it is their way of life. Understand? So our way of life is determined by or influenced by or restricted by or limited by economics. That is that. Economics is a vast subject. Mainly it is the modes of production. Your life is controlled by, another word you can use is control. Yes, controlled by modes of production. Modes of production. How things are produced. See that? Or you can say in the material world, you can say. Material world. See that? So because the moment you eat a spoonful of rice, economics has come in already there. What are the possible economic categories there? You see that agriculture is there. Then you have to think about who produces that, where is it produced, how is it marketed, how you have made rice, how it has come to a market, how it has come to a retail shop, how it goes to the ration shop, or how it goes to the wholesaler, and things like that. Anything you do, you are controlled by, or you are limited by, or you are restricted by, or your way of life is by your life fixed by. Yes, any of this you can say determinism. So that is economic determinism. So when you are attending this class, there is an economic determinism here. 30 of you are sitting here. All of you are not from the same background. So your background, your economic background definitely determines the way you come here, the way you sit here, the way you, your development of your body, all those things. So without economics, nothing can be done. So this is what Marx said. Before that, probably people might some knowledge about it, but Marx said is like that. Your life is determined by your economic conditions. Economic conditions, and that is the only thing. That's what he said. That is determinism. Like also, so you can say it is a grand narrative. It is an example for a grand narrative. There are many grand narratives now. What is grand narrative means? There's a theory that says that this particular theory will explain all the phenomena in the world. That is grand narrative. For all the phenomena, it's easy to understand if we say Freud. Freud said all the activities of humans, their desires, their quarrels, their progress, their attitudes, their social life, everything. That is phenomenal world connected with humans. You can explain by means of sexual desire, or sex is the basis. So it's a grand narrative. Then divine theories, for example. You have got such grand narratives in Middle Ages. So everything is controlled by God's providence, people believe. All, nothing, humans are practically, humans have they're slaves or they're weak, or they cannot do anything by themselves. You need help of God. So that's another grand narrative. That is God-centered universe. Everything is centered around God. Then you have got another grand narrative, that is economic determinism. Look at that. So these are grand narratives, so to say. Or, simple language I would say, these are certain ideas. Grand narrative is an idea, you can say, which claims that all the happenings in this world can be explained by this particular idea. That is divine, God-centered universe. Then you have got Freud's sex-centered universe. Now you have got Marx's idea, that is economic-centered universe. Understand? These are grand narratives. So this is a grand narrative. And Karl Marx was born in 1818, and he was with us till 1883. Then of course, probably he might have gone to the other world with this new idea. But he says it was a brand new idea. Never before people might have thought like this. What did he say? He said, your life, if you want to get a feel of this, you can say, it's a new way of understanding the world. He said, philosophers, they interpreted the world. They tried to understand the world. Greek philosophers. Say Plato said the duality of existence. And then Aristotle's theory of cause. They're trying to understand it. But he said, I am here to change this world. That is the thing. Understand? Marx said, I am not interested in understanding, I am interested in changing the world. See that? So a new way of looking at the world, and therefore it is a new way of looking at the literary text, reading and understanding, and a new way of looking at the literary text and reading and understanding, that is Marxist literary criticism or Marxist literary theory. And what is the new way? To be very frank, I can go on talking to you for hours on this, but the core, I can say, is economic determinism. This economic centered or centered on production of goods. We will see later more about this, but if you want to, and he was a philosopher, he was a philosopher and an economist. And there was another great person, Friedrich Engels. And both these people, they were developing, without knowing each other, same ideas. Both of them nourished these ideas. And they met in 1844 in Paris. So that was a wonderful meeting. So then they put their heads together. They said, oh, here, we are coming together, we have got, both of us are in the same line, same way of thinking, so let's put our ideas together. And they put their ideas together, and you have got what we call communism or Marxist theory. Understand that? That is the thing. And he was a sociologist and an economist. Friedrich Engels was a sociologist and an economist. So both, there is one thing is common. Both are economists. And both of them said that if you want to understand, if you want to understand the world, you should understand this economics, the workings of economics. If you want to change the world, you can change it. The key to changing the world is economics. So this is actually the sum of what Marxism is. And it was very popular. Why was it very popular? That's very important. Because Marxism was victim-based theory. That's the thing. Victim-based. Victim-based theory. Marxism appealed to 80% of the people in the world. And 80% of the people in the world were victims. Either they were victims of gender discrimination, or poverty, or their social discrimination. So only 20% of the people actually, but to use a Marxist category of thought, bourgeois, or you can say the house. And again, to use a Marxist category of thought, 80% are have-nots. This is something very marvelous, this idea that he divided the entire population of the world like this. 80-20. 80 are proletariat, or the poor people, or discriminated, marginalized, the suffering, the victims. So his philosophy directly addressed to the victims. So it became popular like that. It spread like a conflagration across the world. So Marxism had great appeal. Why? Because he said, you 80% of the people, you have nothing to lose. What you should do is you try to change the world. How to change the world, etc. Again, you will see this is an introductory part. If I go on explaining those things, then sometimes we will miss the point. Therefore, he said, if you want to change, you should change. Why should you live like this? See? Now, then if you change, what happens? If you live like this, you have to live a life of slavery. If you don't change, it is a life of slavery. If you change, that's a possibility of a better life. So you can create a new earth and a new heaven. What an appealing thing. What an appealing theory. What an appealing ideology. Ideology means a system of beliefs. Some ideas that you follow. And democracy is an ideology. That is a system of beliefs that we have got. Isn't it? Monarchy is an ideology. Aristocracy is an ideology. They're all ideologies. Communism is an ideology. Liberalism is an ideology. So it has changed. So the appeal of Marxism. Marxism appealed to people around the world and across the world. What is it? A wide spectrum of the people in the world. Why? Because it was victim-based. See that? So, Marxist literary criticism also, we can see the thrust is victim-based literary criticism. Understand? I hope you are following me. I did not tell you many things today. Just what is meant by Marxist categories of thought and what is meant by Marxist literary theory. Means when you apply these Marxist categories of thought, then you can have a new way of reading the text and understanding the text. Another, at the very outset, I want to make things clear to you. This is not a literary theory like for analyzing the text. No. See, for example, you can think about Aristotle's. It is a literary theory for poetics, for analyzing the text. So, what is tragedy? Definition of tragedy. There is no such definition of what is Marxist tragedy. What is Marxist comedy? There is no such thing. But you can have such things like Aristotle's concept of tragedy, Aristotle's concept of comedy and so on, or epic and so on. Or you can have the Ars Poetica of Horace. She speaks about you remember the epistle ad Pison. So he addressed this in the form of a letter of what you should do, what you should not do, what is happening and so on. So that is the analysis of literary text. Longinus very helps us on the sublime. So that's again literary analysis. What is the basis of that? Longinus transporting your feeling. You are transported. So they like this. Or you have got apology. Or you have theories of imagination. Theory of imagination, yes. Or traditional literature. These are literary theories analyzing the text. But that way you should not consider Marxist literary criticism. It's, as I already told you right at the beginning, you are applying Marxist categories of thought, like historical materialism, dialectical materialism, modern economic determinism. So these are, or hegemony. Another concept is hegemony. Hegemony means power through consent or persuasion. Of course, that is a new idea given to us by Gramsci, not directly from. It's a derivative. You can say it is derivative of classical Marxism, but it comes from an Italian Marxist, Antonio Gramsci. Hegemony. Hegemon. Yes, that is Greek. It's power. How you exercise your power. So these are the Marxist categories of thought. And when you look at this, For example, just I will give an see here you have got Shakespeare. 99.9% of the people think that Shakespeare was pure, you can say an artist, a dramatist. But now people have started looking at it as a political text, especially support of monarchy of those days, Tudor monarchy. It's a political text. He was a conservative. When you cultural materialism of Dolimo and Seinfeld. So that's all about it. Politics. You find politics in that, economics in that. And King Lear is a feudal lord, an aristocratic feudal lord. All the problem that happened in is ascribed to when he lost his property. See that he is in trouble. So that's why people are now interpreting it. Understand? So you will see that how when you look up, when you use Marxist categories of thought to analyze plays, novels, poems. I wandered lonely as a cloud. So they say that it is about anti-industrial, against industrialization of England. Wordsworth's poem, famous poem. Understand? So this is how people look at it. If you start applying Marxist categories of thought, you will get the Marxist literary theory. Understand? So I told you today what is economic. So the core is economic determinism. You want to get a feel of this Marxism and Marxist literary criticism. I will give you one or two quotes. It's good for you to write down and see. You can see. Then you get into a new world. So you are thinking about figures of speech, then grandeur of thought. Then you have got power of conception and things like that, no? Or so tragedy is the limitation of an action that is we just got magnitude, plot is the most important thing, and things like that. From there, what happens is you come to a different field. Or it's a lyrical ballads, common man's language and so on. But when you come here, you get a different field. That is the field you get when you come across these quotations like this. He says, it is not the consciousness of men that determines their being. It is not, I like it, if you like you can write it also. It is not the consciousness of men that determines their being. Being there means their existence. It is not the consciousness of men that determines their being, but on the contrary, he says, what does he say? Their social being that determines their consciousness. But on the contrary, their social being that determines their consciousness. So that is the thing. Your existence in this world, it is controlled by the producer director of your existence in this world is economics. Social being here means social environment. That is Marxist production. So it is not the consciousness of man that determines their being. Not because I am conscious. Descartes said, no. Ego cogito sum. He says, I think and therefore I am. No. He says, Marx says, Descartes said, I think, I have got capacity to think. Therefore I am. I exist. I am means I exist. But here he says, no. You don't exist because of your thinking. But who gives you the existence? Not God. God doesn't give you the existence. Then who gives you the existence? He says, but on the contrary, their social being. Their social being means their economic conditions. That's the meaning there. Social being. that determines your consciousness. Consciousness means your existence. So you can see how powerful is the statement, how different is the statement. Powerful at the same time, different. People have never looked at it in this way. See, right when the hunter-gatherers, our great-great-grandfathers, hunter-gatherers, when they started running after deer and killing and eating, sitting together and eating and keeping it for some other, preserving and so on, economics. Already there is economics. Agriculture, economics, nomads, economics. But it was for Karl Marx to come and tell you frankly, on your face, your existence is determined by, not by any other thing, but here it is, your social being. Social being means economic conditions. So what makes you you? It's not as Descartes said, I can think, therefore I am conscious, therefore I am a human being. No. It's because you are surrounded by your economic conditions. So when you read this, you get a feel of it. Isn't it? Marxist criticism says, of course, Marxist categories of thought. I hope you have taken this down. Well, you can say one more I will give you, one more protection I will give you. And that is, he says, he argued like this, means of production controls society's institutions. Very important for us. Means of production controls society's institutions. He argued like this, means of production. Means of production controls. And determines controls society's institutions. That's the thing. Your institution, literature is an institution. So means of production controls society's institutions and also beliefs. And beliefs. That is your ideology. A belief system is your ideology. Social institution, literature is a social institution. Understand? Produced by social beings from social conditions. Isn't it? You take Hardy, that's agriculture. Dickens, industrialization. So it's social conditions. Yes. So means of production controls society's institutions and beliefs. History is progressing towards the eventual triumph of communism. History is progressing towards the eventual triumph of communism. This is what he said. So again you get some idea about this. See, what I am trying to tell you is this is a new field. So in the new field you can see new words, new communism. Yes. And new ideas. So means of production. That's what he said. Means of production. Everything is controlled by modes of production, means of production. Your social institutions. There's a very famous metaphor, by Karl Marx himself, an architectural metaphor. You might have come across the base and superstructure. Base and superstructure, that of course you will see tomorrow, not today. Now what I told you is this, so far, history is determined by economic conditions. Is another quotation. History is, I hope you have written this. So it's a means of production, controls society's institutions and beliefs. Ideology and culture institution, you can say. And history is progressing towards the eventual triumph of communism. Now I just introducing these quotations to you, these ideas to you. You get a feel of what Marxism is. It's a wonderful ideology, no doubt about that. But 20 countries they tried to experiment, and in all the countries they failed. And the collapse of the Berlin Wall and the opening of the opening of Soviet Russia's markets to the world, or you can say another new way of approach by Gorbachev. People thought that communism has come to an end. No. It has been experimented in many countries, about 20 countries. Almost all the countries, you won't find the communism as such, the classical communism as such, proposed by or propounded by, to have a better word or a tough word, Karl Marx himself. That you won't find. You will find the different shades, varieties you will find with the local color and so on. That you will find, but not the exact the communism as or Marxism as propounded by Karl Marx. Understand? So he said it's not either history is determined by economic conditions. Again another. History is determined. Determined means control. Determined by economic conditions. If you want to know again one more example for determinism, you can say a bus. The journey of the bus is determined by the conductor and the driver. Controlled by, that's all. So the journey of this, our life, is determined by a conductor and a driver. Both are one person, and that is economics. That's also again, that's the answer. It's a determined, I am saying many times. You think, what is this? Determined. Or you can say your class, your program is determined by your timetable. That is your principal and head of the department. They determine it. That is the control like that. So this is what is meant by determinism. And then he says, he continued, which is of course not necessary for us. That is, he said, private ownership of public utilities should not be allowed. That's another part of it. We will not bother much about that. Understand? And of course he said, he said, progress in history, change in history. It is not random. Don't think that it just happened. It is not random, it is not linear, it is not chronological. That after 14th century, 18th century, no. It is because of another Marxist category called class struggle. Class struggle. Very important. Class struggle. So when you read a Marxist social text or a literature or a book, you find you will definitely try to find out, is there any element of class struggle in this? That will also another approach to Marxist literary criticism. So it's a class struggle. And when they are opposites, contradictory things, they fight, they clash. What is called dialectical materialism. It's called a dialectical materialism. Thesis, antithesis result in synthesis, a new society. Thesis, antithesis, and of course this idea is taken from Hegel. Understand? So, dialectical materialism. Materialism again here means economics. In economic conditions, when you have got economic conditions will definitely give birth to struggles. Why? We have already seen this is victim based. 80% are harmless. Naturally there should be a struggle. So, existing, the new, there is a fight, and out of this a synthesis. Synthesis means something new. If you go through history, you will find all the changes happen because of this. Think about King John and Magna Carta. The great charter, isn't it? Magna Carta. You can say the cornerstone of democracy in the world. How did it happen? Opposing forces. See that? Then when you come to French Revolution, it's again opposing forces. And you have got ideas like liberty, fraternity, equality. See that? A new system. American War of Independence, you have got a new system. Indian struggle for independence, we have a new system. We have replaced the British rule by Indian rule. So there is bound to be. So history progresses as a result of struggles. Class war. It's a class war. When you hear, you will think that, oh, what a wonderful war. Every day there's war. No. Or you can say class struggle, whatever you want to call it. So this is just an introduction about what Marxism is, who Marx was. Why is it different from others? Because he was not satisfied with just understanding the world, but changing it. That's the thing. He wanted to do something. And there he found the core, key. What is the key? Economics. So, all your institutions, all your looking at things, culture, religion, everything. And for this, he gave a very succinct, you can say, a very beautiful architectural metaphor. That is, such base. Base is economics, and then you have got the superstructure. Superstructure. So this we will discuss tomorrow. I hope you understand, you are following what I told you. It is not a literary theory to analyze texts. Listen, it's an economic theory to change the society. But of course, Marxist categories of thought like historical materialism, dialectical materialism, class war, same thing, there is overlapping here and there you will find, hegemony, the base and superstructure, etc. You can apply it to text. The text is not created in a vacuum. You cannot create it. Also, a text cannot be studied in vacuum. What is essential is trying to understand the modes of production. Tomorrow we will consider, or the next class. May not be tomorrow, but in the next class we will take up what is base and superstructure. Understand that? With that, you will definitely understand what is Marxist way of looking at literary texts. Okay? Till then, bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy.